Some bikes fade away, others become legends. And then there are the naked beasts from Japan, machines so tough, so simple, and so reliable. In this countdown, we're unveiling 13 Japanese naked motorcycles that have outlived trends, outlasted their rivals, and proven themselves with mile after mile, decade after decade. These are the bikes that keep starting on cold mornings, keep pulling strong at high mileage, and keep earning their reputation. And wait until you see the final bike. It's the shocker nobody talks about. Starting at number 13, Suzuki Bandit 650. The Suzuki Bandit 650 was the everyman's motorcycle, built for riders who wanted a machine that could handle everything without breaking the bank. First introduced in the mid-90s, the Bandit series carved out a loyal following thanks to its bulletproof engine, upright seating, and no-nonsense design. The 650 was especially loved because it could do the weekday commute and still carve up the back roads on the weekend. At its heart sat a 650cc inline-4, tuned for usable torque and long-term reliability. Riders regularly clocked over 80,000 miles on stock motors without serious issues. Its wet weight hovered around 480 pounds, making it manageable, yet planted on highways. The seat height sat at 31 inches, which meant most riders could get comfortable. Fuel economy was another quiet win, with many reporting close to 50 miles per gallon. New, the Bandit 650 sold in America for roughly $7,000 when last offered. Today, used examples in solid condition can be found for between $2,500 and $4,000. For a bike that can last decades with only basic care, that is incredible value. It wasn't flashy, but that was its power. No expensive electronics, no fragile plastics, just a tough-as-nails standard bike with character. And for older riders, the comfort and predictability made it a stress-free partner on long journeys. Don't just watch, engage. Like, subscribe, and comment on your dream naked bike before the next one roars into view. But if the Bandit was the working man's weapon, the next machine turned heads everywhere it went. A muscle-naked beast, dripping in retro charm and built to honor a racing legend. And once you hear its name, you'll know why it never faded into obscurity. Number 12, Yamaha XJR 1300. The Yamaha XJR 1300 is the definition of a retro bruiser, big, bold, and unapologetically old school. While other manufacturers chased high-tech gadgets, Yamaha built this bike to remind the world what an AIR-cooled beast should feel like. From the late 1990s until the mid-2000s, this motorcycle stood tall as one of the last true giants of the naked scene. Under its steel frame beats a 1,294cc air-cooled inline-4, a motor so tough it earned a reputation for running past 100,000 miles without breaking a sweat. Power delivery is smooth but muscular, pumping out around 100 horsepower with torque that makes city riding effortless. At nearly 550 pounds wet, it's a heavyweight, but the stability at highway speeds makes it feel rock solid. Ergonomics lean towards comfort, upright bars, a broad cushioned seat at about 31 inches, and suspension tuned for real-world roads. Owners often describe it as a bike that can cruise calmly, then unleash a thunderous roar when the throttle opens. Fuel economy hovers near 40 miles per gallon, impressive for such a big air-cooled engine. Back in its heyday, the XJR sold new for around $9,000. Today, clean used examples typically fetch between $4,000 and $6,000, a bargain for such a legendary naked heavyweight. The XJR 1300 represents a time when bikes didn't need electronics to impress, just size, sound, and sheer presence. But if this was Yamaha's brawler, the next machine was their scalpel. Sleek, sharp, and derived straight from a racing legend, it was the naked that made superbike power ridiculously rideable. Number 11, Kawasaki Zephyr 1100. The Kawasaki Zephyr 1100 is one of those bikes that quietly snuck into the 90s, did its job brilliantly, and somehow never got the spotlight it truly deserved. Think of it as Kawasaki's way of saying, hey, not everyone wants a race replica. Some people just want a big, reliable, old-school muscle bike. And boy, did they deliver. Under the tank sat an AIR-cooled inline-4, clocking in at 1100 cc. It pumped out around 93 horsepower, and around 70 pound-feet of torque, which gave the bike a flexible, grunty feel, less about screaming revs, more about effortless roll-on power. The engine itself was a detuned version of the Ninja 1100's motor, so reliability was already built in. Weight, around 550 pounds wet. Seat height, 31 inches. Tank size, around 5 gallons, good enough for roughly 180 miles if you rode it like a sane human being. But let's be honest, no one bought a Zephyr to baby it. This was a bike that begged you to twist the throttle and hear that air-cooled growl. Prices today are almost laughable for what you get. A clean one might run you $3,500 to $4,500, depending on mileage and condition. Compare that to newer, retro bikes, and the Zephyr looks like a steal. And here's the best part. The bike has a kind of cult following now. Owners swear by its comfort, its durability, and that classic UJM, Universal Japanese Motorcycle, vibe. It's a time machine on two wheels, and once you ride one, you'll get why it's so loved. But if you think the Zephyr 1100 is underrated, wait until you see the next machine that hides even deeper in the shadows. Number 10, Honda CB400 Super 4. This Honda CB is the bike that proves small displacement doesn't mean small character. When it was released in the early 90s, this four-cylinder gem became Japan's answer to riders who wanted superbike sound and feel without the terrifying power that comes with bigger machines. Under its compact frame sits a 400cc inline four that revs to the moon and sounds like a tiny superbike. It makes around 53 horsepower, but its strength isn't in the power numbers, it's in how it delivers that power. This engine loves to be wound up, screaming to redline with a sound that'll make you grin every single time. Weighing just 340 pounds with a 30-inch seat height, the CB400 feels like a toy that can run forever. The handling is razor sharp, perfect for carving up city streets and mountain roads. Fuel economy sits around 55 miles per gallon, meaning you can ride all day without emptying your wallet. Back in Japan, these bikes were priced around $4,000 new. Today, finding a clean one is like striking gold, with prices ranging from $5,000 to $8,000 depending on condition. Wondering why an old bike would cost so much? It is because seasoned riders know these little four-cylinder engines are bulletproof when maintained, and the experience is unlike anything modern bikes offer. Now, if you think a screaming four-cylinder that weighs nothing is impressive, wait until you see what happens when Japanese engineers decide to build a bike that's the complete opposite. A machine so big, so muscular, and so different that it redefined what naked power could be. Number 9. Kawasaki ZRX 1200R, Eddie Lawson's Muscle Naked. The Kawasaki ZRX 1200R is more than just a motorcycle. It is a tribute to the Eddie Lawson superbike racers of the early 80s, painted in that unforgettable green and packing the kind of muscle that makes riders grin every single time they twist the throttle. At its heart sits a 1,162cc inline four, air and oil cooled, tuned for fat torque everywhere. The motor punches out around 120 horsepower, but more importantly, it delivers a tidal wave of torque that makes overtaking feel effortless. Roll on the throttle in top gear and the bike simply surges forward. Weighing about 560 pounds, it feels big and solid. Yet Kawasaki engineered the chassis with braced swing arms, beefy suspension, and twin shocks that keep the retro look while still handling modern roads. The upright bars and roomy seat mean comfort on long rides, but make no mistake, twist it hard and the ZRX snarls like the superbike replica it was meant to be. When new, the ZRX 1200R sold for around $8,000, making it one of the best deals in the muscle-naked category. Today, clean used examples command anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000, depending on condition and mileage. Riders know these bikes last forever if maintained, and that keeps demand high. The ZRX isn't just a motorcycle, it's a bridge between eras. A bike that looks vintage but rides with the authority of a modern machine. Kawasaki gave riders something bold, muscular, and unforgettable. And yet, while the ZRX stood tall as a retro bruiser, Kawasaki also built a different kind of naked, one that pushed modern performance even further. Number 8. Yamaha MT-09. When Yamaha dropped the MT-09 in 2014, it wasn't just a new naked bike. It was a full-on revolution. Riders had been begging for something light, wild, and affordable that didn't feel like every other inline four. Yamaha's answer? A brand new triple-cylinder engine that delivered character in spades. The 847cc inline triple churns out about 115 horsepower and 65 pound-feet of torque. That torque is immediate, punchy, and addictive. Roll on the throttle at any RPM, and the MT-09 just surges forward. Weighing around 425 pounds wet, with a 32-inch seat height, it feels compact yet commanding. Handling is agile, the suspension sporty, and the exhaust note from that triple, a raw howl that makes inline fours sound sterile. Fuel economy hovers near 45 miles per gallon, meaning it's not just about fun, it's surprisingly practical. When it first launched, the MT-09 had a starting price around $7,900, which was insane value for the performance. Today, used models can be found between $5,000 and $8,000 depending on year and condition. If you're loving these legendary nakeds so far, hit that like button and subscribe now. You surely don't want to miss the rest of the list. Anyway, this bike proved that character and chaos could be cheap, and it instantly became a cult favorite. But Yamaha's Rebel wasn't the only one to offer bargain thrills. Suzuki had already built a machine that grew into an urban legend. Number 7. Suzuki Bandit 1200. The Suzuki Bandit 1200 is the bike that turned commuters into hooligans. Launched in the mid-90s, it looked like a simple naked with a half-fairing option. But under the skin, Suzuki stuffed in a detuned GSXR 1100 inline 4, making it a true sleeper. The 1,157cc engine produces around 98 horsepower and a mountain of mid-range torque. Unlike peaky sport bikes, the Bandit pulls hard from the basement, making it an effortless cruiser that can still tear up highways. Wet weight comes in at about 540 pounds, with a 31-inch seat height, making it manageable for a wide range of riders. Fuel capacity is a healthy 5.3 gallons, giving it a range of nearly 200 miles. Fuel economy runs near 40 miles per gallon. Back in the day, a new Bandit cost around $7,000. Today, you can find reliable examples for as little as $3,000, and even clean ones rarely break $5,000. Considering these bikes are known to last over 100,000 miles with basic care, that's almost criminal value. The Bandit wasn't flashy, it wasn't exotic, but it was every man's muscle bike, and its reputation for toughness still echoes today. Yet while Suzuki made a cult classic, another Japanese heavyweight built a naked bruiser so big, so unapologetically bold, it made everything else look small. Number 6. Suzuki GSX 1400. The Suzuki GSX 1400 is one of those massive inline 4 muscle bikes that feels like it was built to rule the highways with brute force. Launched in the early 90s as a no-nonsense sport tourer, this beast carried a 4-cylinder engine that pumped out around 112 horsepower and 75 pound-feet of torque. That meant torque everywhere, no matter the gear, and an effortless pull that could take you from city streets to Autobahn speeds without breaking a sweat. Weighing close to 570 pounds wet and with a seat height of just under 31 inches, the GSX 1400 wasn't exactly light, but it balanced surprisingly well once rolling. Riders praised its stability, its huge wind protection from the full fairing, and its ability to eat miles for breakfast. And let's not forget, a 5.5-gallon tank meant you could ride 150-plus miles before looking for fuel. What makes this bike stand out today is its value. Back then, it was pitched as a sport tourer alternative to Honda's CBR1000. But now you can find clean used GSX 1400s in the $3,000 to $4,000 range, depending on condition. That's insane for a bike that still feels rock solid and delivers an old-school punch. Sure, it doesn't have the bells and whistles of modern electronics, but that's the point. Less tech, more raw motorcycle. And the owners who've kept these machines running will tell you, if you take care of it, the Suzuki GSX 1400 just keeps pulling forever. But if you thought this was the ultimate old-school muscle tourer, Wait until you see the next legend that redefined what big bike really meant. Number 5. Yamaha MT-07. Few bikes have shaken the motorcycle world quite like the Yamaha MT-07. Released in 2014, it was instantly labeled a game changer. Why? Because it brought together lightweight, affordability, and raw fun in a way few bikes ever had. The heart of the MT-07 is a 689cc parallel twin, making about 75 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque. The delivery is smooth, punchy, and endlessly usable, whether carving back roads, commuting, or even light touring. Weighing only 403 pounds wet, with a 32.3-inch seat height, it's agile, approachable, and confidence-inspiring for riders of all levels. Fuel economy sits near 50 miles per gallon, paired with a 3.7-gallon tank, which means easy ranges over 150 miles. Brand new, the MT-07 still sits around $8,500, which is a steal for its versatility. On the used market, early models can be found between $5,000 and $7,000, making it one of the best bang-for-buck motorcycles you can buy today. The MT-07 is more than just popular, it's a movement, with owners racking up hundreds of thousands of miles without issue. But Yamaha wasn't finished rewriting the rulebook. They had an even wilder sibling waiting in the wings. Number 4. Honda VFR 800. The Honda VFR 800 is the bike that turned sport touring into an art form. First launched in the late 90s, this machine combined Honda's legendary V4 engine with comfortable ergonomics and build quality that made other manufacturers jealous. It's the kind of bike that can eat highway miles for breakfast, then tear up a twisty mountain road for dessert. At its heart sits an 800cc V4 engine, one of Honda's most beloved power plants. It produces around 107 horsepower with a smooth linear delivery that makes every ride feel effortless. The V4 configuration gives it a unique sound and character that inline fours just can't match. Plus, the gear-driven cams mean it'll run forever with basic maintenance. When new, the VFR 800 sold for around $9,000. Today, clean examples can be found for $4,000 to $6,000, making it one of the best sport touring values on the used market. Owners routinely report over 150,000 miles without major issues. The VFR 800 proved Honda could build a bike that was fast enough for sport riding, comfortable enough for touring, and reliable enough to last decades. It's the ultimate do-everything motorcycle that never went out of style. But Honda wasn't the only manufacturer building forever bikes during this golden era. While Honda perfected the art of balanced performance, another manufacturer was about to unleash something that threw balance out the window. A bike so controversial that riders either absolutely love it or think it's completely insane. And when you see what it is, you'll understand why. Number 3. Yamaha FZ1. Take the legendary Yamaha R1, strip away the fairings, tone it down for the streets, and what do you get? The Yamaha FZ1, a street fighter with brains, designed to deliver big thrills without the cramped ergonomics and twitchy personality of a full-on superbike. This is the kind of motorcycle that blends power, reliability, and comfort into a single package. A machine that rewards riders every time they twist the throttle, whether carving canyon roads or cruising through the city. At its heart lies a 998cc inline 4, derived from Yamaha's R-Series technology, but retuned for mid-range performance. It produces around 150 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque, giving the FZ1 a smooth, tractable power band that's accessible for daily riders, but thrilling when pushed hard. Unlike its super sport sibling, this bike doesn't demand constant attention to the rev limiter. Instead, it pulls hard across the mid-range, making overtaking effortless and spirited rides on the open road a pure joy. Riders immediately notice how it balances raw power with controlled delivery, proving that Yamaha understood how to translate track-bred performance into street-friendly fun. The chassis is equally impressive. Wet weight comes in at around 490 pounds, with a 32-inch seat height, making it surprisingly manageable for a leader-class machine. Upright bars and a naturally balanced riding position make long rides comfortable, while the compact frame and sharp suspension geometry keep it ready for aggressive cornering. The FZ1 feels alive in every twist of the road, yet never overwhelms the rider, striking a balance few bikes in its class achieve. Fuel economy sits near 38 miles per gallon, and with a 4.5-gallon tank, it offers ranges of roughly 170 miles, meaning it's not just a weekend toy, it's a bike you can live with, ride daily, and enjoy across long distances without constant refueling. When new, the FZ1 carried a price tag of around $9,000, positioning it as an affordable leader-class naked bike with genuine performance credentials. Today, used models can be found for $4,000 to $6,000, making it one of the best performance per dollar street fighters available. Owners consistently praise its bulletproof engine, strong mid-range, and the fact that it lasts forever with minimal fuss. What truly sets the FZ1 apart is Yamaha's ability to blend superbike pedigree with street comfort. It doesn't just borrow the motor from a race bike, it reimagines it for the everyday rider. Smooth, predictable, and fun, it's a bike that appeals to new riders and veterans alike. But while the FZ1 ruled the leader-class naked segment, Yamaha also realized there was a gap, a sweet spot between the 600s and the leader machines. Number 2. Honda Hornet 900. The Honda Hornet 900, known as the Honda 919 in the United States, is the ultimate example of understated power. Released in the early 2000s, it took the legendary Fireblade engine and retuned it for everyday street use. What resulted was a naked bike that looked approachable, but hit a torque-laden heart, making it a true wolf in commuters' clothing. Riders didn't need a super sport license to feel the thrill, but once you twisted the throttle, the Hornet reminded you just how capable it was. Underneath the simple, clean lines of its frame sits a 948cc inline-4. This motor produces around 110 horsepower and 60 pound-feet of torque, tuned to deliver mid-range punch rather than screaming top-end power. The result is a bike that surges forward effortlessly in real-world conditions, perfect for city commutes, twisty canyon roads, or even highway blasts. It doesn't demand constant redline chasing, but when asked, it will respond with authority, proving its sporty pedigree without ever feeling intimidating. Weighing in at roughly 450 pounds wet, and with a 31-inch seat height, the Hornet manages to feel agile and manageable, despite its torque-heavy engine. The riding position is natural, upright, and comfortable, making it suitable for long rides as well as daily commuting. Fuel economy hovers around 40 miles per gallon, and the 5.1-gallon tank provides ranges just above 200 miles, allowing riders to cover serious distance without constant stops. When new, the Hornet was priced at approximately $8,000, offering a remarkable combination of reliability, performance, and ease of use. Today, clean used examples can be found between $3,000 and $5,000, making it an extremely affordable naked machine with legendary durability. Riders often report over 100,000 miles without any major issues, proof that Honda's engineering still sets the standard. What makes the Hornet 900 truly remarkable is its ability to balance muscle, comfort, and simplicity. It doesn't rely on electronics, gimmicks, or flashy fairings to impress. Its character comes from the engine, the chassis, and the way it communicates directly with the rider. It is both approachable for beginners and rewarding for seasoned motorcyclists. But Honda didn't stop there. The Hornet laid the foundation for the next evolution of naked bikes, a modern muscle machine that would push performance and technology further while keeping the same approachable soul. That bike would go on to redefine what a naked Honda could be. Number 1. Honda CB1000R. The Honda CB1000R is the kind of bike that reminds riders why Honda dominates the world of naked motorcycles. It takes everything the brand perfected over decades of engineering and rolls it into one muscular, agile package that has earned a reputation as both a thrill machine and a dependable companion. First launched in 2008 for the European market and later across the globe, the CB1000R was never just a stripped-down superbike. It was something leaner, sharper, and built for real-world riders who wanted everyday usability without losing that raw, unfiltered rush. With its minimalist frame and aggressive stance, this bike has always looked like a predator waiting to pounce. At its heart lies a 998cc inline-4, derived from Honda's legendary Fireblade engine. Tuned for the street rather than the racetrack, it produces around 123 horsepower and 73 pound-feet of torque. The delivery is pure Honda, smooth, precise, and deceptively violent when the throttle is twisted. It doesn't punish beginners, but it rewards experienced riders with endless power on tap. Whether carving up mountain passes or launching onto highways, the CB1000R feels alive in every gear. The chassis design complements that power perfectly. With a wet weight of around 480 pounds and a 32-inch seat height, the bike feels slim and balanced beneath you. It dives into corners with surprising grace, yet holds its line with unshakable stability. For a big naked, it has the soul of a dancer, quick on its feet, but rock steady when asked to push harder. Riders who spend long days in the saddle will also find comfort here, with ergonomics that blend sportiness and practicality far better than most rivals. Fuel efficiency hovers around 36 miles per gallon, and the 4.5-gallon tank offers ranges close to 160 miles. That means this isn't just a weekend toy, it's a machine you can live with every single day. From commutes to cross-country rides, the CB1000R doesn't just endure the miles, it begs for more. Back when it was new, the CB1000R carried a price tag of about $10,000. Today, the used market has turned it into one of the best performance per dollar naked bikes you can buy, with clean examples regularly priced between $5,000 and $7,000. For that money, riders get a motorcycle that combines Honda reliability with superbike DNA, a mix that almost guarantees years of trouble-free ownership. The CB1000R proves Honda's ability to fuse brute force with precision, delivering a ride that's both thrilling and refined. But while Honda embraced modern design, another Japanese powerhouse refused to follow the trends. Instead, it created a big, air-cooled bruiser that stood tall as a retro street fighter, a machine that became a cult icon for riders who craved raw muscle in its purest form. And there you have it, machines that prove motorcycles don't need to be covered in plastic fairings to be legends. From the featherweight commuters to the big-bore bruisers, these nakeds have stood the test of time. Built simple, built tough, and built to keep riding long after others fade away. Next video, we go even deeper into bikes that most riders overlook, the kind of hidden gems that might be waiting in someone's garage right now. If this trip through motorcycle history fired you up, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment about which naked bike you think deserves more love. The road never ends, and neither do the stories. Stay tuned.